1945 at the streets of Barcelona, Daniel Semperi Sr. took his son Daniel to the cemetery of forgotten books for the first time.
Daniel, you must not tell anyone what you're about to see today, not even your friend Thomas. No one. Good morning, Isaac. This is my son Daniel. I brought him here because it's the right time for him to know this place. Welcome to the cemetery of forgotten books, Daniel.
According to the tradition, whenever someone gets the chance to go to the cemetery of forgotten books, he or she must choose a book whichever he wants, adopt it, and take good care of it for life. And so Daniel wandered to the place and found one. It was The Shadow of the Wind. Daniel got easily hooked with the said novel written by Julian Carax. As time goes by, he became more curious of it, particularly about the other pieces written by Carax, and even what his life had been. And so Daniel immediately approached his father to ask questions regarding Carax and his novels. But his father couldn't give him answers. To his surprise, he discovered that his father had never heard of The Shadow of the Wind or Julian Carax.
But don't worry, son. I can bring you to my old colleague. He also has the same passion for books like me.
That afternoon, Daniel and his father strolled along to the Els Patricats to meet his father's old friend.
Semperi, old man, have a seat.
You owe the honor to my son, Don Gustavo. He just made the discovery.
Ah, nice meeting you, young man.
That moment, Daniel handed Carax's novel to Don Gustavo. Don Gustavo got interested to it and asked Daniel if he could buy the novel.
Let's see. What do you want, young man?
I want to know is who Julian Carax is and all the books he has written.
Here's the deal. Let's meet tomorrow at the Ateneo Library. Bring the book with you.
Daniel is walking towards the Ateneo Library. As he is wandering not from where he is standing, he saw a figure of a girl wearing a white alpaca dress.
Don't you know my niece Clara? She is the expert on Carax. That's why I brought her here. I'll leave you both alone.
You've impressed him, you know.
How do you say so?
You earned his respect by refusing to give him the novel, even though he offered you huge amount of money.
All evidence to the contrary.
You must be wondering how someone this blind can be a book expert. Here, come closer.
Pardon me?
Come closer. Don't be afraid. I won't bite.
One night, Daniel asked his father regarding what happened during the Spanish Civil War. But his father won't give him answers, for it was his mother's desire not to tell Daniel what happened during the war.
When I returned to my sitting, I turned off the light and sat in my father's old armchair. I went over to the balcony and looked out far enough to see the hazy glow shed by the street lamps in Puerta del Angel. A motionless figure stood in a patch of shadow in the cobbled street. He wore dark clothes, with one hand buried in the pocket of his jacket, the other holding a cigarette that wove a blue smoke around his profile. He observed me silently. In the scene I had just witnessed, that stranger could have been any person of the night. A figure with no face and no name in Carax's novel. That figure was the devil.
Last night, the stranger whom Daniel saw when he was at his sitting room appeared again to him. But this time, the stranger talked to him and told him to surrender all the Carax novels he has, especially his copy of The Shadow of the Wind. For the end time, Daniel refused, and so the stranger threatened him that he will do something terribly bad to Clara. Daniel panicked and immediately went to the Marcellus place. However,
Seeing Clara making love to Adrian made me weak. Literally weak. I wanted to hate Clara, but was unable to. To truly hate is an art one learns with time. I swore to myself that I would never see her again, that I would mention her name or remember the time I had wasted by her side.
Good afternoon. Senior Isaac, isn't it?
Yes, Sampera Jr.
Do you know something about Julian Carax?
There's not much to say. The first person I heard mention Carax was Tony Cabestany, the publisher of his books.
Did Julian Carax write in Spanish or in French?
Who knows? Probably both.
What about Senor Cabestany?
He became ill and had a few money problems. Later on, someone turned up at his office and made a very generous offer. He wanted to buy the whole remaining stock of Carax novels.
To burn them?
Yes, who do you think is that man?
Someone called Hubert or Kubert?
Dane Kubert. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it's one of the characters at The Shadow of the Wind, the last Carax novel.
A fictional character?
In the novel, Dane Kubert is the name
Used by the devil.